Hello, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be my spoiler-free review for This Poison Heart by Kalynn Bayron. There will be content warnings linked down below in the description if you want to check those out, and we are just going to go ahead and jump right into this because I just finished this book like 2 to 3 hours ago at the time I'm filming this, and I desperately need to talk about it. This follows our main character Briseis, who has a hidden power over plants. When she inherits a house from her birth mother, she is also given a space to test out her powers. But as she begins to bring the garden back to life, she discovers that she has also inherited a dark secret, and her ancestors are not going to let her be until she accepts that she is the keeper of the dark power of the poison garden. I do briefly want to talk about our main character for a second. I really liked her. That's kind of where my opinion on her begins and ends. She just felt like a really great character to follow along with. I also really loved her relationship with her moms. It's really fun. There's so much love there, and it's incredibly lovely and heartwarming. I don't know, whenever I see like parent relationships like theirs, it reminds me that I don't see family relationships like this too much when I'm reading, where like the parents are actively contributing positively to the story, and it just makes them feel all the more special, and this was for sure one of my favorite parts of the entire book. Bri also has a ton of really interesting connections with others, and she meets some genuinely really interesting people. Marie is specifically one of my favorites, but like everyone is pretty good. This story has like this air of mystery to it that I was not expecting from it going in, and I feel like the way things unfolded in the story and the way things uncovered was handled so well. And if you don't already know this is not usually one of my favorite things in the world. I'm not a huge mystery fan, but I have been looking for books that can make me a mystery fan, and I think I finally found another one. But when that atmosphere of the book did start to show itself, my initial reaction to it was, oh no, because I was really enjoying everything in this book up until that point, so I was a little bit alarmed, but it all worked out. The mystery elements really worked for this story, and they had me so hooked and on the edge of my seat so many times. Even if some of the mystery components did end up feeling like a little bit cheesy to me, they still felt nostalgic. Like, I don't know how to really describe it, but it felt a little bit like some sort of video game mixed in with what I could see making for like a really good TV show. Which, side note, I would love that if that happened. And the atmosphere also felt a little bit spooky, and maybe this was also part the music that I was listening to while reading this, which I will link down below because it worked great. But the atmosphere here felt very fall-like to me, despite this taking place in the summer. Which, either way, great read, but it is something for me to maybe keep in mind when I go to read the sequel, maybe in the fall, we'll see. The next thing that I do want to mention is the pacing. I had read this author's other book, Cinderella is Dead, before this one, and my biggest complaint regarding that book was, in fact, the pacing, specifically towards the end of the book. And I was so nervous entering the final stages of this one because I was loving the pacing of the story, and I am so glad that that feeling mostly stuck around through like the entire thing. I will say I don't think the ending covered everything that I wanted, but that also feels kind of purposeful in a way because there is a sequel, and it does feel like that sequel is set up to pick right off where this one left off, and I'm really hoping that some of the things that I thought were missing from this ending show up in there somewhere. I also do want to briefly touch on the romance. This is not what I would call a romance-heavy book for our main character, but there is something there, and it's queer, and it's lovely. I did feel some small elements of insta-love creeping through, but I still enjoyed their dynamic, and I'm ready for more. This story also has a ton of really cool concepts, which was not a surprise when it comes to this author, but still amazing nonetheless. It dives into mythology, which I thought was really interesting. There's also the poison garden, and like all of the plant magic, and just everything that surrounds it did not disappoint. And just like the way everything was described makes me so excited to do like my journal entry for this book, while also like supplying a good amount of pressure for that journal entry because I want it to look amazing. And again, just like the mystery elements, and I know I said this earlier, but I just really love the way everything about this came together, which is part of the reason why it's kind of hard for me to convey what specifically I loved about this so much, because the answer to that is pretty much everything. But I also do really want to come on here and talk about it because because I loved it, and I just want to say that. And also just like do my best to convey why. And it's one of those books that just made my respect for this author's writing grow even more than it was already growing. And I just really need to get my hands on that sequel because my heart feels incomplete without it. So overall, this was a book that I was so excited for going into it, and it definitely lived up to that, which is so satisfying. I just couldn't stop reading it, and I always wanted to like keep picking it up as well, and I was in a reading slump. Which emphasis on the was in that sentence, because this and also the end of Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim helped get me out of that reading slump. At least I think they did. I don't want to get too confident about it just yet, but it feels good right now. And I'm going to be giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so that is all I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that. And hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!